Hi there, I bought myself a little table from a well-known supermarket last summer. Did the job fine. I left it out so it got a little bit tattered, so I've decided I'm going to spruce it up a bit, okay? So I brought it inside to dry, left it by the radiator for about a week or so, just turning it around. Not too close obviously so it didn't warp. So now what I'm going to do is take some coarse sandpaper and start sanding it down. I'm using a block because it gives me a bit more contact with the table. So you can already see that layer's starting to come off. Okay, so I've now lovingly sanded my table down, which wasn't too bad actually. I thought it was going to be worse than it was, but it was okay. And I'm now going to start painting my table. So, as I said before, there was a little garden table I had outside, and most of the time when I'm sat outside, it will be a nice summer's day, and generally there will be a drink in my hand. So I decided from this that I was going to make myself a lovely drinks table for next summer. Because the best drink to have in a garden, obviously, is a gin and tonic. I'm going with a gin and tonic theme. So I've got a lime green, obviously, for my wedge of lime. I've got china clay for my gin and my ice. I have got a lemon yellow, that's for my wedge of lime. And I've also got a nice ivory green, which I'm going to put on the bottom to sort of balance the table out. Okay, so, as I said, I've sanded it down. I've given it a nice brush to try and get rid of any bits. And now I'm ready to paint. So I'm all ready to go. I've got my brush, I've got my first colour, which is china clay. I'm inside, obviously it's a bit warmer, and while things are drying it means we don't have to worry about rain and stuff. Okay, so as I've given it a good shake, there we go. It's not rocket science, it's just painting a table. And as you would any other paint, dab it on and stroke along. And you can see instantly how that wood's soaking in that colour, but still leaving it very vibrant. Okay, so I've done the underside of my table now with the first coat. I'm very lucky with this table as it has little bits and bobs underneath, which means I can go straight on to doing the top of the table. Now, if I didn't have that, then I would need to leave it to dry for a while. So, let's go again with the white. So a nice trick that you can do when you're applying your paint is to get a nice good coverage on there. Just try and steady that out a bit. So once we've got our coat on, like so, we then just very, very, very lightly, hardly touching, as you can see, just about see the brush marks. And we go down, and then again, and the other way. And can you see how that very, very, very light touch is removing those brush marks? Very good for someone who's very heavy-handed like myself. And then just tidy up those bits there. So I've done my tabletop as much as I want to for the minute with the white colour. I'm leaving 4 strips because I'm going to paint those a different colour, which will become clear later. So I'm now going to move on to my table legs. This I'm doing in ivory green, and just the same as I did with the tabletop, basically. So I've just applied dark green to the top side of my leg, so I'm going to leave those to dry now. And while that's been happening, the white that I put on is now sort of dried a little. It's not completely dry, but it's got to that sort of tacky stage now where I don't have to worry about it dripping. So now, my secret idea for my gin and tonic table would be my slice of lemon and my slice of lime, which is going to give it its characteristic drink, you know, idea basically. So, small brush for this job. Going to start with this. As we've said before, I'm not the greatest painter in the world, so this could go wrong. I'm just going to really lightly do these ones. So, as I'm not the best painter in the world, and I'm trying to do these two colours, what I've done is I've just slotted a piece of sandpaper, obviously you can use anything, just so that I can get really right down in the sides there and get that colour all over the wood. And then, as again, to tidy it up, we do our feathering. So I've left my table to dry overnight. I was expecting today to do a third coat, but I don't actually need it. I thought with a light colour like China Clay, it would need 3 coats on top of that dark, very dark wood that I started off with, but it doesn't, so that's brilliant. The only little bits that I seem to have missed are just down here. So what I've done is got a really cheapy little makeup brush, and I'm just getting the tiniest little bit of royal and just dabbing it in, because obviously it looks good, but I don't want to mess with it too much and overwork it and end up ruining any of the effects. So yeah, that seems to work really well. So I'm just going to finish that off. So I've got my gin and tonic, which is great, on my table, but the ice is missing. So, a little flash of inspiration, I've decided to have a go with some glitter. So, I don't actually know how I'm going to do this yet. So, I'm going to try 2 techniques. One, I'm going to put some little pot of clear royal exterior onto one of the slats, and I'm going to sprinkle the glitter on. And the other theory I've got is to put some royal and some glitter in a little pot and then brush that on. So, we're just going to see how it goes. Okay. Right. Oh, brush there. Okay. Okay, experiment number 1. Here goes. Yay, that works. Okay, that seems to work really well. Let's try experiment number 2. Oh, that might have been a bit too much. I wouldn't use your best brush for this. And just tip it in. Okay. Okay. Both working really great. So my gin and tonic table is now finished. I've got my lemon, I've got my lime, I've got my ice, and I've got my gin and tonic. I've really enjoyed doing this, and the products actually work fantastic. So I think the next thing for me to do is to go and get myself a gin and tonic.